All right. Welcome to another episode of the Things Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. I have an interesting person today. I guess that's the way to say it. My friend Calvin here. Say hi to like my two viewers.
Hello, everybody.
Oh shit! I forgot to remind you. The mic needs to be like 2 inches from your mouth. Yeah, it's pretty
Hello,
uncomfortable.
everybody.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. All right, dude. So like, what's been going on? Like, you go to college now. Like, where are you stationed?
Sure, yeah. Well, I go to school in Oklahoma,
Okay, that's what I thought.
that
Yeah.
state just north of here.
God.
And I go to Oklahoma State University, which is in a small town called Stillwater,
Are you
Oklahoma.
serious? Okay, got it.
Yeah, and I'm studying music education there, hoping to move back to the area
Oh yeah,
and
you do
be,
like marching band, right?
yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's that like? Or like in college? Like, what's it like
Well,
in college compared to high school?
this past year is has not been a whole lot of fun music
Is it because like
wise.
the COVID and everything, or college and
Right.
everything? Yeah.
Well, we basically, I mean, everybody in the music world was kind of scrambling when this
Oh yeah, yeah. Like every
when
industry in general.
the pandemic
Yeah.
started, just because so much of what we do involves like airflow
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah. I imagine that's not easy with the masks.
yeah,
Honestly.
but no, I mean band is great.
Yeah.
Marching band wise, it's the purpose of it in college is much more for just entertainment for the
Is
fans,
it really? Oh,
and
okay.
nowhere near. I mean, we went to high school together. The
Hmm.
band kids, we were very enamored with. Competition. It was a
Oh
very
yeah.
competitive
Yeah. Yeah.
activity.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Whereas I enjoy it. I don't more or less, but I enjoy it because it's just fun. That's all it
Oh,
is. It's
okay. Yeah.
just the
So like, it's
only.
not like you don't feel as competitive in college now, right?
No,
Is that what
no.
you're
I
saying? Got
mean,
it.
like the only competition I would say we really have is like when we visit University of Oklahoma, or they visit us and they bring their band. But
Gotcha, gotcha. So like, why Oklahoma? Like, do you get like a scholarship for marching band? Or something?
that's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the school, Oklahoma State, um, it was something that a lesson teacher recommended to me because the trombone professor there
Oh yeah.
is really, really, really phenomenal. His name's Paul Compton,
Got it.
and he's done a great job like developing just phenomenal trombone players. Now, I don't want to be a professional trombone
Oh
player or
yeah,
anything
yeah.
like
Got it.
that, but obviously that's still a large part of what I do at school.
Mm-hmm.
They've also done a lot of investing into the music program there,
Mm-hmm.
which I am more directly involved with. And
Yeah.
so we just recently opened up a brand new facility.
Oh,
The
really?
Michael
During COVID?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Well, see
damn.
that. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, they started building it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I came there, I saw on the front page of the School of Music website, new School of Music opening
Yeah, yeah.
soon, new Performing Arts Center opening soon,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, that looks awesome. I would love to be a part of that. So that opened up this year, a
Yeah.
little bit later than I had hoped
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've only got one more year of school
Oh
left.
yeah, yeah. I figured. Yeah. Get
Um,
that.
but we just got a new performing arts center, and part of that was a $50 million endowment
Oh damn.
to bring in musicians and professionals and then have them actually do master classes with the students.
Mm-hmm.
So the first performance in that hall was the New York Philharmonic,
Oh damn. All right.
arguably the best orchestra in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the principal players did a master class with the students, and that was like
Oh
an
damn.
incredible opportunity. So
Oh damn. I imagine like things are like much more difficult now. Like now that you're in college. Like, tell
it
me. Like, hold on. How do I say this? I guess difficulty level comparing it to college and high school. Like, like what's your take on that?
it was a shift. It was definitely a shift. You know,
Mm.
I was the only one from my graduating class in high school
Oh,
to
you see
go to
that?
Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
going there, I didn't know anybody, which was a leap of faith, but it was also an exciting thing to do
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there was part of me that was like, maybe I don't want to go
Hmm.
everywhere that my friends are going
Yeah,
to
yeah, makes
University of
sense.
Texas
Hmm.
or the other schools in Texas. So it was a shift, but being in an activity like band and
Hmm.
music, you meet a lot of people, like-minded people, really
Yeah, yeah,
quickly,
naturally.
and
Hmm.
that definitely helps a lot. Difficulty wise, yes, it is
Yeah,
much harder,
matters.
and um, being in a uh, study of music, um, I didn't realize that I wanted to study music until my last year of high school, and
Yeah, yeah,
um, there's so much,
yeah. Seriously.
the history of music is so expansive, and
Oh
then just
damn.
like the science and just how music works, like music theory.
Hmm.
uh it's I now
Oh
think
damn. So
of
like it's more
music.
comprehensive than high school in
It's
general.
oh it's way I mean, all I did in high school music wise was just band,
Oh. Oh. Okay. So I got it. I got it.
but
Got it.
it's I love it,
Hmm.
and I think I'll definitely be prepared going out to the workforce, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully you do something in music.
Yeah, but yeah, college is way harder, but it's also way more rewarding, I think.
I imagine so. Yeah.
You know, uh, and it's cliche, but like going to parties and meeting
Hmm.
people, and the first time well, I won't say much more on that,
Yeah. I
but
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
but college is fun.
Yeah.
But college is also hard, and
Hmm.
it's definitely hard to strike that balance between the two of not having too much fun,
Hmm.
to where you start to suffer in
Yeah.
school,
Hmm.
and in a way focusing too much time on school to where you're not having any fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard
Yeah. I
to
feel that.
strike that
I
balance,
feel that. Yeah.
and I think I hate to talk about COVID too much, but
Hmm.
COVID felt like all school and no fun at
Oh
all.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID pretty much ruined like everything. So like,
Yeah, it did.
naturally, I figured so.
Yeah.
So like, what's it like being away from home in general? Like, especially being far away from like so many people that you knew or like grew up with and whatnot.
Well, it forces you to make new
Yeah,
friends,
I
and
figured so.
I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it.
Hmm.
But coming back, the friends who I've stayed close with,
Hmm.
it's like we never left each
Yeah,
other,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like I come back and visit people, and it's like we pick up right where we left
yeah.
off. But I'm grateful that I chose to go to a school so far away, I mean, it's just up the road on
Yeah.
I-35, but because I've now met a completely new group of people
Hmm.
who I call my friends, and
Yeah.
um after I graduated high school, my parents moved out of the state. They live in Tennessee now.
Oh, are you serious?
So it's not like I necessarily have a home base
Okay, so
here
that's why you're
anymore.
staying with a friend. That's right.
Right.
Got
That's
it.
why I'm
Got it.
staying with a friend here,
Yeah, yeah.
because my parents got the heck out of Dodge as soon as I graduated,
Oh, really?
and live in Tennessee
Oh,
now.
do
So
do you have like any siblings that
yeah, I
take
have a
with you?
sister, and
Got
she
it.
lives in the DFW area.
Yeah. Okay, Dallas Fort
So
Worth. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Got it. Got it.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, damn, that's pretty interesting, dude.
yeah,
That's quite
yeah.
something.
But I do love this part of the state so much, Central Texas,
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
the hope is to eventually move back and find a job here.
Yeah,
But
I figured so. Yeah, man.
yeah.
Well, you haven't been here for like over a year and a half or so. Like, have you noticed like much change ever since
Oh
last time you
yeah,
were here?
dude. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
for real?
mean, well, the Amazon facility wasn't here last time I was here, and
Was it not?
outside of Pflugerville. No, it
Oh, I
wasn't.
thought it was.
No,
Oh,
and
interesting.
I know the Tesla factory that just got started. That's completely new.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
And funny enough, I know the two highest bidders for that project. It was Austin and Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Are you serious?
So there was so
Okay.
there was a lot
Okay,
of
funny enough.
people who I'm friends with from that area, Tulsa, Oklahoma, who really, really wanted something like that to come to
Yeah,
Oklahoma, because
yeah.
it would have completely changed the state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that, well, I mean, Austin doesn't need another
It really doesn't.
giant
No,
company
no,
to
it really
come.
doesn't.
They are more than enough well off, but um, looking back on it now, is kind of foolish for a bunch of Oklahomans to think that
Oh,
Elon Musk is going to move
Who's to
his
Oklahoma? Yeah.
factory into the middle of a field in
Ye-
Tulsa.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to
No
ask you next.
offense.
Like, what's Oklahoma like compared to Texas?
Much more conservative.
Oh, you see? Yeah, I
Well,
figured so.
at least the state as a whole is.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's pockets of
Minorities, I guess that's the right word. to say.
yeah. Well, I live in a college town,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a good balance, I think.
Mhm.
But the state as a whole is much more conservative.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can't. It's on par with Texas, but in terms
Mhm.
of like where we're from,
Mhm.
in terms of Central Texas, this is a much more liberal part of the country.
That definitely is. Yeah.
So it's not Oklahoma isn't more conservative than Texas, but
I guess Texas also is also more liberal though.
yeah, well, in terms of how I grew up in Texas,
Mhm.
where I live now is a much more conservative place. So that has been a change, but something um, I think a important thing in your development as a human being is getting a varying
Views.
opinions
Yes,
from
exactly.
people,
Mhm.
and I've gotten a lot of that from moving to
Yeah, I figured so.
Oklahoma. But other differences is I mean, it's nowhere near as developed. There's only 2 major metropolitan cities as compared to the Austin, Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas, San Antonio. And besides Tulsa and Oklahoma City, a lot of the state is pretty rural.
Mhm.
And beef is king up there,
And
oil
that's-
is king. I've experienced way more earthquakes
Are you serious?
in
Oh,
the
God.
state. Well, I don't even think I ever experienced an earthquake up until I moved to Oklahoma.
Oh,
but
damn.
fracking is such a big thing there.
Mhm.
Drilling the ground for oil, that you get
Yeah, I figured
the
so.
effects
Yeah.
from that.
Mhm.
I live on a 5th floor of an apartment complex,
Oh,
so
damn.
it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
whoa.
That must be scary, dude. Like, how often do you go through it though?
Not super often.
Okay, that's
I
nice.
think I've actually felt like maybe 3 since I've lived in the state.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's
So,
like what 3 years of
yeah, so
college. Yeah,
1 a year. But
yeah.
Oklahoma has some pretty beautiful areas too, because I like going outside and doing recreational activities.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ride bikes and
Okay.
go hike and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
not necessarily Stillwater, where I live, which is like smack dab in the middle of Oklahoma.
Mhm.
But the western and eastern sides of the state, there's some really beautiful scenery out
Oh,
there,
okay,
like
okay,
the
yeah.
Ouachita Mountains, which is in eastern Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And then there's like the Wichita Mountains, and then there's like the Black Mesa
Yeah.
State Park, which is basically the foothills to the Rocky Mountains.
Okay, makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
where that
Yeah.
range kind of starts. So
Okay, interesting.
it's a very like diverse ecosystem, and it's cool because Stillwater is kind of on that dividing line where everything east of town
Mhm.
is like lush and beautiful,
Like
and
nature
green,
focused. Yeah.
and everything west of town is a desert.
Oh, you
So,
serious?
yeah.
Like, what's city life in Oklahoma though, or maybe specifically more Stillwater? where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you much about Tulsa or OKC because I don't visit a whole lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah, makes sense.
Stillwater is just a quintessential college town. It's about 50,000 people
Mhm.
when school's in session, and then when it's not, it's about 20,000.
Oh,
So
damn. Oh, wow, that's a
the
significant. drop.
school is like over half of the population.
Yeah, yeah.
So the community really rallies around the school, and everywhere is painted orange because that's our school colors, and it's I love it there, and it's
Mhm.
if you're really looking for that quote unquote college experience,
Yeah.
Stillwater and towns like that are the place to go.
San Marcos, I know, is another place
yeah,
to go. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and one of the other, I like sports, and
Oh, okay.
we have a decent football team. Texas State doesn't. I don't know.
Oh,
if
does it
you're-
actually?
I don't know if you're a Bobcats fan, but
Well, I mean, I only worked with the students. I only did their nails. That's all I. That's the only most thing I ever done for them.
Uh-huh.
So.
but you know, like football games are a huge deal there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like we have a phenomenal team where we're playing
Mhm.
for a national championship, but
Yeah.
we're competitive enough to where people come out and
Oh, like and
uh,
actually watch.
it's
Yeah.
a fun environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fill up the stadium and have a
Mhm.
good time.
Hey, when every time it's like a home game, do you guys march for them?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
So I
So
figured so. Got it.
there's a bunch of traditions we do. We do a a concert
Mhm.
outside of the music school, and then we march into the stadium, and we have a pregame show that they've been doing really since like the band started. It's like the same
Okay.
marching show.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And halftime, and then yeah, yeah. So the band's pretty involved with
Okay. Damn, dude.
the football pageantry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured so. Like, I imagine. I always thought like marching band and like just football in general kind of went together,
Yeah.
kind of. So.
Yeah, it does.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because especially, the past year,
Mhm.
you could definitely notice the we were still at the football games, but at a
Mhm.
reduced
Oh yeah. Reduced capacity.
capacity,
Yeah.
So it was about 80 people in the band instead of usually there's upwards of like 300 of us.
God damn.
So big difference,
Yeah. Yeah. I figured.
And then same thing
Mhm.
with the stadium. There was only 25% of the fans there,
Mhm.
which is, I think our stadium holds like 60, 50, 60,000 people.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can't do the math, but it was much
Yeah, yeah, I
less.
imagine so. Imagine like imagine the energy is like completely different.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was very, very
Hmm.
different.
Did it like affect the way you like march or anything or like?
Well, we weren't allowed onto the field
Okay, fair enough.
because of COVID protocols. So we just stayed in the stands and
Hmm.
uh,
Oh, it's like middle school stuff then.
yeah, yeah, it did feel a lot like middle school
God.
band. We did our best, and I don't think anybody necessarily enjoyed what we did, but
Hmm.
I know one of the things our band directors said was you've got to look at it in the sense of either you can't compare this year to last year. You have
Hmm.
to compare what we're doing this year to the other alternative, which is nothing at all,
Okay, yeah,
because there were a
yeah,
lot of band programs across the country who didn't do anything.
yeah.
UT being one of them.
Hmm. Hmm.
One of the biggest schools in the country, their band and music program, they weren't able to do any
Oh yeah.
performances.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know about their marching band for certain, but I do know the School of Music really wasn't able to do much, if anything,
Yeah, yeah,
during like the height of the COVID pandemic. So
yeah. Oh, did you have like school like interrupted because of COVID? Because like what's it called? Like
yeah,
what I mean by that was like
yeah,
my friend he went to UT like one day he just went like he had like a test and like it just straight up got he got like a text message saying it was straight up canceled like the next week like everybody was just sent home.
yeah. The me and my friends like to joke it was the longest spring break ever because
Yeah, man.
that's what we got off on spring break, and then I think they added like a week to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just outright canceled school,
Yeah.
and we did virtual learning.
Oh God. What was the
Whatever.
transition like to virtual learning? Because I hear everybody pretty much hated it.
Um, it was difficult
Yeah.
to say the least. I mean, again, trying to do music online,
Oh yeah.
it
That's
doesn't
all. Yeah.
really transfer. And I feel bad for the professors. And I know, like, me and my peers, like, we're obviously very frustrated with some of the faculty in the school because when COVID happened, that was like the last we heard of them, just
Yeah.
because
Makes sense.
they were also caught off guard and just didn't necessarily know how to make the switch to
Mm-hmm.
online learning because they've never had to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So the back half of 2020, the school year, was not great. But I think they did a better job preparing for when we came back in the fall,
Okay. Yeah.
and then through the spring of this year. It was Well, by the spring we were pretty much all back in person,
Yeah.
which was
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
But still social distancing and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I saw so many of my friends who are band directors trying to do rehearsals over Zoom and
Yeah, that does not sound
private
right.
lessons over Zoom, and
Yeah.
they did it. They really
Okay.
did. But it's, you know, the first time I know those groups were able to get back together in person and play
Mm-hmm.
music together. I know that had to have been a very emotional experience, because you really take it for granted.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I figured so.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is one thing I heard like a lot in high school. Like I heard like a band had like a lot of drama. I mean, I don't know what the specifics, but that's what that's just what I heard. But like,
Sure.
when
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really true or not. So like
I mean, to an extent, it is. I mean, high school is full of
drama
drama.
in
You
general,
know
yeah.
that,
So
but um, you know, band kids, theater kids, art kids. You know, we're all in the same bunch of people.
oh yeah,
Who we like to be the centers of attention.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of
Um,
what the point of the
um,
art is. Yeah,
yeah. So, um, I don't necessarily want to speak like too much on like
yeah. Of course,
the
of
like
course.
specifics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know, like uh yes, there was drama in
Okay.
band. You know, if somebody gets to be a section leader and you wanted to be a section leader, you know, you're gonna cause drama about that,
Oh really?
because you think you should have been a leader instead of them. You know,
Okay, yeah.
or um, you know, yeah. I mean, just high school stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay, because my next question was like, how did it compare to college? You
no,
know?
no, no,
Okay, yeah, that's what I
no
figured.
comparison. I mean, people grow up,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was hoping.
I know, like, I've mellowed out a lot since going to
Oh
college.
yeah.
At least I'd like to think I have, because I don't think I was necessarily the greatest person in high school.
Yeah, I don't think most of us
Yeah,
were,
I would
honestly.
hope not, but
Yeah.
um, like I said, college band, the goal was to just have fun. So
Yeah,
everybody
I
just
sure
has
hope so.
fun.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about all the stress of, you know, oh, are we gonna get the perfect score,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, oh, we don't necessarily have to play all our music at, you know, 100%
Yeah. Yeah.
preparation, because it doesn't matter as
Yeah,
much,
I actually
because we're
hope
not
not.
getting scored on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that must feel like a relief.
it takes the pressure
Yeah,
off of
yeah.
it
Do you
for
feel like you
sure.
play better without the pressure?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I think
okay.
so. You know, it's a different kind of playing. You know, obviously, you know, if I'm preparing a piece of music
Mm-hmm.
for a competition or for a performance,
Yeah.
um, you know, it might be better if it might be a better performance if it was, as compared to something that was like, hey, you've got a week to play this,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just doing like a fun, like, you know, or like if somebody's playing at a bar,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. You know, it's a completely different kind of
Yeah, I
performance.
figured so. Yeah.
So, you know, they each have their places, but
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, for marching band especially, and uh
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. I'm listening. I'm listening.
um for marching band especially, I think there's definitely room to take a little bit of the competitive aspect out of it,
Yeah, yeah.
especially in the high school thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's value in having that stuff, especially for, you know, kids in high
Mm-hmm.
school, to learn how to deal with that kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
because obviously, like, you know, your whole life you're competing with people.
Yeah.
Um, but I think if maybe we made that a little bit less of a priority and made having fun
Probably individual growth.
and also like giving the audience
Mm-hmm.
like involved and making sure the audience has fun with the performance,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'll be more worthwhile
Oh,
for everybody,
yeah, I should hope so. Yeah.
because there's so many and this isn't a hot take, but there's so many band shows that kind of touch on very heady ideas, and they're very ethereal
Okay.
and stuff like that. And it's like, well, like, what if we just did like a tribute to Queen or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know, or you know, like a Miley Cyrus show or something.
Are you
And like,
serious?
you know, wouldn't some people in the stands have a little bit more fun with that than if
Yeah, I
we were
figured so.
playing like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Stravinsky symphony, you
yeah,
know? So
yeah. Like you definitely would stand out by doing like I don't know, touching more on the pop culture mainstream. I guess.
right, right.
Yeah.
And it's heading in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Like, have you done any like how do I say this? Have you done any more of the mainstream stuff yet? with the marching band?
Yeah, well, so I mean, everything we do for college marching band is mainstream. You know, we
Oh, okay,
do
interesting.
Marvel
Oh,
shows.
are you serious?
Yeah, like
Oh, okay, I gotta hear about this.
Spider-Man and or you know, we'll do I'm just trying to think. We did like a video game themed
Oh,
show,
wow.
and we did Aretha Franklin when she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in terms of like the more competitive side of things, you know, like high school marching band, and then I also march drum corps,
Yeah.
which is kind of at the same level, or at a little bit of a higher level, but same thing where it's a competitive activity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the last show that I did in 2019, we had My Shot from Hamilton the musical in it. So like that's
Mm-hmm.
something that like, you know, mainstream pop
Yeah.
culture, like people are gonna sing along to
Yeah,
that and
naturally.
recognize
No,
that.
damn.
And you know, we also did I don't remember what the band is, but like everybody
Yeah.
wants to rule the world. You know that song?
I honestly no, but
You
yeah,
don't?
I actually don't.
It was from oh man, I can't remember the name of the band, but
Okay, yeah, but
80s pop tune.
okay, we'll have to come back to this in a
Yeah,
second.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So like, have you kept up with like, I guess like the more musical movies, since considering like you're involved with music and everything, like so like In the Heights or Hamilton and all that.
No, I really haven't.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Hamilton. I haven't seen In the Heights. But I know a lot of people who like those, but I'm not a huge musical guy.
Oh, okay, got it,
Yeah,
got it. Makes sense
yeah,
now. Makes sense now.
yeah.
Yeah. Weren't you also like in theater back in high school?
I did theater for my senior year. I was in the musical. Yeah.
Okay, which one was that? Was that
It
In
was
the Heights? Oh,
Heather's.
no, In the Heights was like another year. Okay, got it, got it.
Yeah,
Heather's
it
got
was
it.
Heather's the musical. Yeah.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was fun. You know, you definitely get pulled a bunch of different ways when you do
Mm-hmm.
something like that because like I was doing theater rehearsals, but I also had band rehearsals.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
also finishing on my senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it added some stress to that, but I had a lot of fun. It
Mm-hmm.
really pushed me outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Again, I'm all about meeting new groups of people, and I met an entirely new group of people and got
Mm-hmm.
extremely close to them in the span of like 2 months.
Oh wow.
So and I put it on every once in a while and laugh at myself.
Oh really?
Because I've got the DVD still,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, it was a fun experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to think, you know, when I've got a student in the future who wants to do theater and be in the band, you know, I'll
Mm-hmm.
be you know, accommodating to them because there is value in doing more things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's a lot of people in the arts and well really anywhere where it's like there's a notion that like you have to be all in on like one thing and you've got to
Mm-hmm.
like focus on one thing. And I
Yeah.
think especially when you're growing up in high school and even in college, like these are the moments in your life where you have to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Like I joined the ultimate frisbee team my freshman year of
Oh
college
really?
at Oklahoma State,
Mm-hmm.
and I had fun and but also realized that I'm not good at ultimate frisbee and that I don't have time to play it. But I
Yeah.
had fun,
Yeah, yeah,
and I can't say I'd necessarily regret never trying out for the ultimate frisbee team if I had never done it.
yeah.
But you know, at least I know now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh wow. You
yeah,
seem like a very experimental person based off what we've been talking so far. Like
yeah,
you literally
enough.
jumped into theater like senior year.
Yeah, yeah. I like to well, they needed more bodies. They needed more people because I think at that point in time they had just had a really large graduating class,
Mm-hmm.
and so they needed more people to do it. But yeah, I don't know if I'd call myself experimental, but I'm definitely curious. You know, I
Okay,
like
yeah.
to try different
Makes sense.
things.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the same boat with you.
Yeah.
Was there anything like you regret not doing back in like grade school? Because for me, I regret not taking choir, but we'll get back to that in a second. We'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I I do wish I was a better singer, and I think
Yes.
going to music, studying music, I've realized how much of a difference having a good ear can make.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I think if I maybe would have spent more time developing that, that maybe I'd be better off now. But it's something I've had to work on in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of something I regret doing, I don't know. I was always approached by the coaches at high school to play football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the time because I ran track and field.
Okay.
And I'm a tall guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Naturally.
I'm athletic, and um, they always wanted me to play football,
Oh, really?
and I always, I'm always wondered how that would have turned out if I
Yeah.
would have ended
Yeah.
up playing
Yeah.
football for the football
Yeah.
team.
Did you have like any football experience up to then?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
like football until I think, middle school. Maybe I started watching it, and by that point, all the boys my age had already been playing in their
Oh,
pee wee
yeah.
leagues and
Yeah.
flag football leagues. And also, was heavily involved with band.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Naturally.
obviously, you can't necessarily do both.
Mm-hmm.
You could, but it's harder to do because they
Yeah.
happen literally at the same exact time. Football games.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff,
Naturally.
so,
Oh, yeah. They literally go in hand in hand. So like naturally, yeah, makes sense.
yeah, it's hard to be in two places at once,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is kind of what you would have to do
Yeah,
because the
literally.
football team's practicing at the same time that the
Yeah,
band is
practicing,
practicing.
yeah,
and
like
yeah.
I don't think I can't imagine what that's like on game day.
Right.
Like,
So
imagine running the field in your like band uniform.
yeah, I don't want to know, but I was always a little bit curious if I would have. I probably wouldn't have been. I'm not the most coordinated person out
Yeah.
there, but
I feel that.
maybe I could have hit some people hard and
Oh,
made a
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm such a non-aggressive person that I don't know if football would have been the best fit for me either. Maybe I wish I could have started journalism earlier because I kind of got into that a little bit later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started my sophomore year, and
Oh,
I think again, scheduling wise, my freshman year there wasn't room, but I've tried a lot of things, and so in that way, I don't necessarily regret not doing things because when I get presented with an opportunity, I'm one of those people who it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
I have a hard time saying no to people.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if that's healthy, man.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
And I've, yeah, you've got to prioritize yourself. It's like you're doing something like this, like, could I have said no to it? Sure, but this is something that
It's like up your alley.
I'm very interested in, and like, hopefully I can contribute well to, and yeah.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to prioritize your life, especially when you're the type of person who wants to do everything.
Do everything. Yeah, I feel that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, how do I say this? I was like literally the opposite in high school. Like I did absolutely nothing because quite frankly, I was just mostly trying to survive. Like I really didn't want to be there. Like I have the friends I want, and I don't need really anything else. But at the same time, like I barely talk to those people anymore. So I'm just now like, maybe doing things in high school wasn't a bad idea after all.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
then again, like, what are you doing now? What are
Doing
you up
now,
to? Yeah.
literally full-time nail salon.
Okay.
'Cause I don't want to go to school, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school. Like, I thought there's like don't get me wrong. There's like many times I thought about going to seminary school. Like,
Yeah.
I thought about being a youth pastor multiple times, but I'm like, no, I hate school. Like, nothing's worth going to school for me. So I decided, like,
Yeah.
especially like what's it called, like in the day, like so like I worked with like a lot of college students back in San Marcos. My nail salon back in San Marcos. Nine out of 10 times they tell me like they graduated and like they're not doing anything with their degree. So I'm like, why the hell would I want to go to college then?
It's a risk for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
You pay a lot of money to hopefully
Do something.
make that money back.
Yeah, like I'm like, that's not worth the risk. I'll just like have fun spending money at the moment, and then like, yeah, I'll figure something out. Like,
Yeah.
and eventually I did. Like, there's a film I want to produce. Like I'm working
Uh-huh.
on the screenplay at the moment.
Uh-huh.
I eventually want to like how to do this, make cover music, I guess.
Okay.
Cover
Yeah,
music.
I saw you've been playing guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I picked up again after like I had like a church burn at one point, so I and like the guitar went
Sure.
with it.
Sure.
So like yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well,
vocal lessons.
I mean, again, it seems like you're trying a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
So,
it seems like you're a motivated guy. So,
oh yeah.
you know, we're both young,
Oh
and
yeah, absolutely.
there's no good reason to necessarily settle down right now.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right. That's I think that's like my main mistake in high school. Like I was so fucking tunnel. Let's just say I was tunnel vision on this one girl for like 3 out of the 4 years.
girls, yeah,
Yeah, God, God, what a waste
yeah.
of time. No, but like, yeah, dude, like literally I was like a loser in high school.
No, you weren't.
No, thanks, but no, no, it seriously was. But like, literally, my main end goal was like get married, have kids, settle down. That's it. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
that doesn't sound fun, right?
now that I'm out of high school. Yeah, that does
Yeah.
not sound fun.
And of course, like, and oh, I mean, I can't speak for you, but
Yeah,
that's something I would like in the future.
yeah, yeah.
But I just turned 21 a couple weeks ago, so
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, that should like be far from your mind.
right, right.
I will say though, like I got one of my friends. She's like in the military. You're like, no, I don't know if you know this, but like most military relationships go like really fast. She just got
Yeah.
married. I think she's barely 20, and I actually got jealous. I actually got jealous. I'm like, oh shit, it's coming back to me. But
Yeah, well, and I've seen a lot of friends recently, like get engaged and
oh,
stuff
are you
like that.
serious?
Yeah, well,
Damn.
I say a lot of friends. I've seen a couple Facebook posts, but
Yeah.
what different strokes for different folks.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm happy for them. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
and
Absolutely.
I'm trying to not sound passive aggressive right now. That's incredible for them
Hmm.
to be doing that, and but I I have a girlfriend, and we've
Hmm.
been dating for almost 3 years
Oh
now.
damn.
Um,
Oh damn.
but not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I figured so.
I'll
Yeah, I
just
don't
leave
blame
it
you.
at
I
that
don't blame
because
you.
I'm sure she'll probably watch this later because I told her that I was doing this.
Oh
So
really?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
nice. Shout out to her. I guess.
yeah,
Yeah. Like,
yes,
how was that? Okay, it's like damn. You have like a lot on your plate on college. Like you have like
uh-huh,
marching band,
yeah.
a
You're telling me.
girlfriend, and like just a general life all together.
Yeah, I almost wish I could take another year, just because it's really flown by, and especially with the pandemic, I feel like the whole last year has kind of been a waste.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I was literally about to ask if you felt like you got robbed.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But school is hard. I spent so much time in classes, and now I've got one semester left until I'll be doing like a student teaching internship.
Mm.
And it's like, where did the time go?
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
luckily, like this being my last semester in school,
Mhm.
it's it's the lightest schedule I've ever had, and I think I will be able to take more advantage of like
Mhm.
doing college shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like going to the bars and
Mhm.
hanging out with friends more because
Mhm.
I love my roommate or roommates back in Stillwater, but
Yeah.
man, like I feel like I missed out on so many
Mhm.
experiences and relationships in
Yeah.
the past year
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
half because we were locked inside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know what that would be like.
Well,
be
you
honest.
do know it's like
Well,
being locked in. I mean, I don't know how your pandemic went, but
a lot of sleeping, I'll say that.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
employment money was nice.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I bought a lot of expensive shit I don't need. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I don't know. Like most of my friends were yeah, exactly. That's
There you
exactly.
go.
God. Oh my I'll explain this another story later. But yeah,
Sure.
like most of my friends were like, we play video games anyway, so like we don't really need to I mean, I prefer to meet up because like to be honest, I don't if I don't have to play video games to connect with my friends, I wouldn't. But like since we did, like, it's online already, so like literally life continues the same for us for the most
Uh-huh.
part. It
Yeah.
wasn't I didn't enjoy it, but like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't play video games. I never really have, besides like the Wii in my family game room.
Oh,
growing
yeah.
up. But I like going out and doing things with people, and you couldn't do that safely.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely not.
Unfortunately. I mean, I was working in a restaurant, and again, I
Oh.
still work there.
Oh, okay, got it.
But
Got it.
again, met an entirely new group of people
Yeah.
who aren't now. At least I hope they think this about me, but I think there's some of the greatest friends I've met in college, and
Oh
it's like
wow.
now I'm almost out of here. It's like,
Oh yeah.
you know, wish I would have started working here sooner.
Yeah, especially like
because
literally you lost a year pretty much.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and I started working there because of the pandemic,
Oh,
because
okay,
I
got
stayed
it.
in Stillwater that summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got that job basically because of COVID.
Oh,
So, you know, like,
okay.
that was, I guess, one of the good things to come out of it
Mhm,
is now I've got this kick-ass restaurant job, and I've met a bunch of kick-ass
Oh,
people.
wait. Like, what did you do at the restaurant? Like that kind of, I don't know. How do I say this? It sounds, how do I say it? I want to say outlandish, but like
Yeah, well,
unreal to get a restaurant job during the pandemic.
Right. Well, and the food and like service industry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is notoriously like one of the hardest places to work.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with customers and it's long hours on your feet and you don't get paid the best.
Yeah.
But the place that I work, and I think it's, you know, primarily because it's a family-owned business. They started in 1957.
Oh, okay.
And the granddaughter of the original owners, who one of them is still alive, she's the general manager.
Okay.
So it's stayed in the family, which I think has a big part plays a big part in like why it's such an enjoyable place to work.
Yeah.
And they treat us really well. And they, you know, a lot of my managers, you know, make a point to tell the employees that we're doing a good job, and they're right there with us doing the, you know, I've worked
so like they treat you guys like family almost.
I mean, that's a cliche, but yeah, I'd say so. But I've worked a lot of jobs and been in a lot of situations where your manager or higher up, you never see them, and when you do, it's like they're on their phone. But you know, the managers that I work with, they're right there in the trenches with us in our rush hours. And so, but working in a restaurant in the pandemic is not ideal. We were open mostly for pickups when I started.
Okay, makes sense.
But again, like, they gave us opportunities to do work other than that, because you don't need a lot of people to just do pickups.
Yeah.
But we did stuff that, you know, cleaning, like deep cleaning, like parts of the restaurant that haven't been cleaned in years, because like stuff, you know, that stuff gets pushed to the side. And you know, reorganizing things, and so we could still get paid during that time by doing work. So and then now it's like the pandemic is gone. You know, we're not at full capacity yet, but we are busier than we've ever been, and I think part of that is because people have been itching to go outside. And
Oh yeah, imagine so. Yeah. Do you feel better going outside now? I know I for sure am.
I do. You know, you know, get your shot. To the two people watching this, like you said earlier, get your vaccine if you haven't yet. But yeah, I mean, I feel better, and I think everybody had COVID fatigue, and you know, I'm hopefully a year from now, this is a distant memory, and we don't have to deal with any, you know, the last pandemic was 100 years ago. Hopefully the next one is
never,
not
ideally
never, but you
ideally,
know, that's
but
not going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, not while I am living.
Yeah, I hope not as well.
Yeah,
like whatever, like or how to say this, like natural disasters that we're leading to based on the way we're treating the earth. I'm just hoping I won't be alive by the time it comes to this breaking point.
Yeah, well, you know, hope you won't be around, or hope that we can
deal with
take the steps to get out of the direction that we're going.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're kind of at a breaking point right now, to where if we don't do something soon, we are
I would rather not think about that.
Effed. We are
Oh,
finished.
I would rather think about that. But just think about 2020 in general, dude. Like the amount of things that happened. How do I say this? Like, a decade from now, I can imagine like kids in school, like literally learning 2020s, be like all like probably like a textbook of its own, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It was something I talked about with friends a lot, that like
Mhm.
this is a pretty crazy time to be our age.
Oh yeah,
You know,
like we're barely still figuring out life for ourselves.
right, right, and you know, going to college during the mass amount of events that happened in
Mhm.
2020. You know, it's hard to name them all,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it's a very influential and developmental period in our lives. And, you know, like you said, in the future, I
Mhm.
think kids, you know, if I have kids, it's like, they're going
Yeah.
to be like, what was 2020 like?
What
And
did you
it's like,
do?
well, sit down.
We exactly that. That's
Yeah,
what we did during
yeah,
during 2020.
sit down, John and Susie. I'll tell you
Yeah.
about
God.
2020 because it was not fun.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Especially like we were like literally just like entering our own lives. I guess that's the best way to say it. And we
Yeah,
were literally told to sit down or sit back for like
right.
over a fucking year.
Yeah, and my friends who have graduated recently, like finding a job during the pandemic, like
Oh yeah.
so tough. And my
Mhm.
friends who were teaching during the
Mhm.
pandemic, again,
Okay.
like that's such a hard thing to do.
Mhm.
So, but you know, we're on the tail end of it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that we're better off now
I
because of
sure hope
it.
so. Yeah.
But time will tell.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I don't have much faith in humanity. I think like after, let's say like a year post everything,
Yeah.
after everything settles, I think we're gonna be like back to where we were. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
am a pretty optimistic
Oh
guy.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and this is something my roommate and I've talked about before, because he and I aren't like, we don't view the world like, I always try to see the best in things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's not that I think that we're going to make all the right choices,
Of
but
course
I
not. Yeah,
think
naturally.
in a way that we may be forced to eventually. Like, I
Yeah.
think it might get, and it sounds funny to say that it might get so bad, because I feel like it was already so bad, and
Mm-hmm.
like we haven't necessarily made the changes that should have
Yeah,
came out of that.
yeah.
But I think that maybe we're not done with this yet, and it might get so bad to where we are just, again, forced to completely
Yeah,
change
yeah.
everything.
I don't know, man. Because like I don't know,
I
because
don't.
everything that happened in this country alone, like
We're speaking very vague right
yeah,
now, like
yeah,
everything. I don't
yeah.
know if you have like a specific
I mean,
thing, but
like naturally, like it's like COVID, Black Lives Matter,
right,
everything like that.
right,
Like I mean, that's kind of like a beaten conversation at this point because literally that's all that
yeah,
happened in 2020. So naturally, that's all you really talk about.
right.
So like, but yeah, but back to my original point, like, imagine all this, where we should be able to push for change, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, our government sucks.
Texas is
Yeah,
God
well, the state and the national
national for
government.
sure. Yeah.
You know, I think um, we as a country
Mm-hmm.
are a reflection of our government, and you can
Absolutely.
see how divided um, the Congress is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, 21-year-old kid, I don't know shit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
people see that and they think
Mm-hmm.
that's how we're supposed to act.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, when you're seeing, you know, the tweets and the news coverage of senators and congress people just going at each other's throats,
Yeah.
people see that and think that's how they should treat their neighbors.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, that's exactly what happens.
And
Yep.
it is not good. And I think there needs to be, I don't know what it is, because again, I'm 21 and I don't know anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there needs to be a big change in how our government works. And I don't know what
Absolutely.
that looks like yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope it happens soon.
Yeah. Sure.
Because it's like you said, I think we're
Mm-hmm.
trending in a direction to where it's going to get really bad
Hmm.
on that side of things
Yeah, yeah.
to
If it
where
progresses like
it'll
that, yeah.
just like I don't
Hmm.
it'll just
Oh yeah, it's
and
gonna
then
it's gonna happen one. It's gonna happen one day. Like, oh my god, dude! Like me and my friend, we went to like a protest, dude. We were like, very civil war is like very. I wouldn't say imminent, but it's like it's definitely on the plate. And like, God, we were like actually like genuinely scared of that happening.
it
And, like,
definitely felt more real during that
oh
time.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
And I don't know if things have necessarily settled down
Hmm.
or just people aren't talking about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Um, I like how like we're supposed to be like. I don't know if you agree with me on this. Like, I mean, if you don't, obviously that's fine. Like, I don't think our generation is exactly helping either. Like, I mean, I get it. We're still fucking young. We don't know shit still,
right.
and we're still trying to figure shit out. But like at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, I guess just a lot of the ideas that's being spouted during any, I guess, activist phases, like for like
Mhm.
Stop Asian Hate, BLM, Pride Month, and all that stuff. Like, I feel like our generation is like very one dimensional the way we approach many of these situations.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, these are touchy subjects, and
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
am not the right guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What I am a white guy, and I've had a very privileged life.
Hmm.
But I think those movements are making a positive
I
change.
sure hope so. I'm hoping so.
And what, I was going to say something.
Yeah, I felt that.
But um, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
lost my train of
yeah.
thought.
That happens to me like so many times on the pod too. Like, don't trust me, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, but like, I don't know, like,
Oh.
yeah, yeah,
It came back to me.
yeah, yeah.
I've kind of like flip flopped back on this idea of
Hmm.
do we try to, the people who I'm trying to choose my words wisely.
Yeah, yeah. Worst comes to
The
worst. Yeah.
people, I will just say this in broad terms.
Hmm.
The people who we have disagreements with, do we shut them out of our lives,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
do we kick them to the curb, or do we try to have discussions with them?
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like at a certain point you do have to just be like, you know what, I think you're wrong.
Hmm.
I think what you believe is wrong.
Yeah.
And good luck. And I'm never going to talk to you again.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I think that is okay.
Mhm.
But I think there really does have to be an effort between people
Hmm.
to have meaningful discussions over disagreements,
Yes,
because
yes,
that's
yes.
where change is made, is in disagreements and in
Mhm.
compromise.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And nobody's ever going to be 100% happy with anything that gets done.
Yeah,
ever.
that's just life. So,
But
naturally.
excuse me. Like I said, change comes out of disagreements and
Mhm.
compromise.
Yeah, and just
and if
general
we
communication in
and if
general.
we shut the door
Mhm.
on people, the moment they say something we don't disagree with,
Yeah.
or the moment they say something we don't agree with,
Mhm.
then you ruin the chance to make change
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
their life and even in your life, because you might be able to learn something from
Yeah,
them
yeah,
too.
yeah. And like, I don't want to. I'm not trying to like hark on our generations very much because like I
Right.
know the older generation does the same thing,
Right.
but like echo chambers, like I don't know if like me
Right.
and my friend were talking about this the other day. We're like,
Yeah, I listened to it
oh
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
like
Yeah.
the echo chamber.
Right.
Like that's how. That's how we
You
literally
surround yourself
mhm.
with people with the same
Views,
viewpoints as
yeah.
you.
And then you don't grow, you don't learn anything really.
Right.
Yeah.
And, fortunately well, I will say fortunately,
Mhm.
even my family kind of has a diverse opinions,
Yeah.
diverse array of opinions.
Yeah.
So I think in a way that's helped shape me into a way that I can listen to people,
Mhm.
because I grew up in a house that had
Oh,
disagreements.
okay. That's nice.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a liberal person,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm registered Democrat.
Yeah.
But you know, I I have Republican friends
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
and conservative
Mm-hmm.
friends, and I think there's value in having hard discussions with them. And I
Mm-hmm.
know maybe we might not see eye to eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also know that this is kind of a privileged thing for
Mm-hmm.
me to talk about
Yeah.
because not they're not against who I am as a
Yeah.
person. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that my friends who are conservative or Republican are against any particular group of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that there are people who have those views
Mm-hmm.
who identify as Republican and conservative.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't feel attacked by anything they say
Mm-hmm.
because straight white guy.
Yeah. Naturally.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, if I can have those conversations
Mm-hmm.
with them and you know try to find a middle ground, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we're all better for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's I agree. I agree. You know, I actually lived in a household that's like we're not allowed to disagree with the like how to say this the upper generation.
Uh huh.
It's
The like the older
yeah,
generation.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you're surrounded by like enough Asian people to tell you this, but like basically like most Asian cultures, like you literally you have like an absolute obedience to like the older generation, which I don't agree with. Which I don't agree with because like you can't call them out for their bullshit. You can't tell them when they're wrong and like this X, Y, and Z. You literally just nod your head, be a good kid, and then like yeah, just let them have their way, which is it's very toxic, you know. That's why like I never really had a positive view of my
Sure.
own group of people. But like but yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad let's just say I'm glad I'm in
Yeah.
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, and we don't have to talk about that too much because I
Yeah.
know that was something you talked about on another podcast. But,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
um, yeah, no, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Austin's a great, great town,
Mm-hmm.
in some ways,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
But even in a place like Austin, Austin
Oh yeah, fair
has
share
its
of
faults.
yeah, exactly.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite something. Oh, have you heard about the snowstorm that hit Texas?
yeah, well, it hit Oklahoma
Oh,
too.
did it really?
Yeah,
Oh hell.
but we're a little bit more prepared for it
Mm-hmm. You
because
have your own. You
we
actually have a power grid.
yeah, I mean we're connected to the national the whole ERCOT thing just an absolute mess.
Oh.
We get that weather more often, not necessarily to that extent, but
Mm-hmm.
at least we're a little bit more prepared for it.
Yeah.
And you know, I think at one point my girlfriend and I went out on one of the coldest days, and I remember listening to the NPR broadcast that morning for the local station, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Yeah, it's negative 30 degrees here, and it's colder in Stillwater, Oklahoma, than it is in like Sochi, Russia, right now." And I was like, "Well,
Oh, that's quite something.
that I don't know how to feel about
Yeah. Yeah.
that." But we went and like there's a pond on campus, and we
Oh,
went
there's
and
no
like
way.
stood out on the middle of it because it was completely
Are you
frozen.
serious?
Yeah. But no, it was really scary. And you know, I guess fortunately my parents don't live here anymore, but
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
What about your sister?
you know, and my sister lives in DFW, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they were without power maybe for a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like she recently had a child. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sure that was scary for them, but
Yeah.
you know, a lot of my friends who live down here, like
Mm-hmm.
they were without power for days,
Yeah.
and especially the ones who live like within Austin city limits or
Mm-hmm.
like Dallas city limits, because those urban areas got hit
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I heard like there's like even after when like the snowstorm died down, like I hear like San Marcos, right? There's like a lot of farm around that general area. Like when I
Hmm.
went back to work, you know, like I was talking to
Hmm.
my clients, like there's a lot of like older clients as well I worked with back there.
Yeah.
That they actually live on farms. They told me that it actually took like another 2 weeks to actually recover
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
snowstorm. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it had lasting effects for so many people.
Oh yeah.
It's like moments like this where you moments like that where you do get a little bit of little bit of optimism about
Mhm.
about people, because there was people in Austin.
Mhm.
I know because I saw the stories of, you know, bringing food
Mhm.
over to friends' houses who like couldn't get out of their house, or, you know, elderly
Yeah.
people. But then again, you know, the people on the ground were doing great jobs, but the uh, government didn't do a whole lot
Yeah.
to
Absolutely
help.
not. Absolutely not.
And we see it now uh, in the great state of Texas,
Mhm.
where the power's still going out and there's still power outages.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally this week we have to we have to conserve our power this week.
Yeah,
Like, are you serious?
because it's too dang hot,
Yeah.
and it's so mind-blowing to me that the argument in the winter was, well, the power grid's not prepared for this type of
Definitely
weather.
not.
This is a 1,000-year storm.
Mhm.
We never could have predicted this, but you know what you can predict in Texas is that it's gonna be really hot in the summer.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so why aren't we better equipped for moments like these?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like, let's just say, our Texan government, their priorities are like in the wrong places. Like, I won't, I wouldn't say this is like a less touchy sensitive. Let's. I'm not saying this is like a less touchy topic compared to others, because I don't want to like compare issues. But like our homeless situation, for example,
In
like,
Austin, yeah.
yeah, like Proposition. I don't know which one it was, but like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
That was that the one that made it illegal to camp?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
literally witnessed like a cop the other day approaching like a homeless person
yeah. It's
the
like
other day.
that's not the solution.
Definitely not.
And
Absolutely
there's yeah, I mean, I went down to Austin today and was talking
not.
with friends, and there's too many people who just don't want to see the problem and don't
Mhm.
care how it gets solved.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the best way that we're going to fix the homeless crisis,
Mhm.
at least in my opinion, is
Yeah.
giving them the resources to where
Mhm.
they can live in a home and
Mhm.
find a job that's best suitable for them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you know,
Mhm.
there's too many steps that we have to take, like in the city government and state
Mhm.
government.
Yeah.
It's a bureaucracy, and
Mhm.
something's going to get held up in one way or another, to where we're not going to be able to make that positive change.
Yeah.
And again, Austin, I think, is probably at kind of a breaking point right now, to where
Mhm.
if they don't do something about the homelessness in the city, then it might get to a point where it's
Mhm.
too big to manage.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like I'm on the Joe Rogan podcast, because I listened to that episode that he did with the mayor of Austin,
Mhm.
and they talked for a long time about this, but it's really not that bad. It is bad in
Yeah. Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah.
but I think the mayor said, on any given night there's 3,000 people.
Oh, are you serious?
And that's such a small number.
Mhm.
So why can't we get them places
Yeah.
to live?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's in the city of Austin alone.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, three. Okay, interesting.
yeah. And
Considering how
in
big
like
Austin is.
Los Angeles, it's like 100,000.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah.
You know what I was concerned about? Like the where did the homeless go during the snowstorm? Like,
Well, a lot of them died, unfortunately. Well, I don't want to say a lot, but I did see on the news that there were people who died. I know in particular, like there was one story of a man who literally died outside of like a Red Cross center or a
oh
Salvation Army,
wow, the
and it's
irony.
like, man, yeah,
Yeah.
that was hard to read. But yeah, where do they go when it's negative wind chill, and where do they go when it's heat index of 130 degrees?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't
They
know,
just do
man.
their best.
Yeah.
They're just trying to
Hmm.
live.
Yeah. And like it's unfortunately we're not doing enough
And
for them.
nobody's helping them.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. There are people helping them, but
Sure, yeah, of course.
there's a lot more that needs to be done.
Yeah. How long now? Okay. I'm ready to wrap up if you are.
What a sad subject to
it
end
really was.
on.
It really was. Yeah, but usually the way I end it, like I usually ask, if you have anything else that you want to add, to just like literally anything.
No. Thank you. This has
Yeah.
been fun. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm a big podcast listener.
Oh, nice.
So I'm glad to have an opportunity to be on one.
Yeah.
And I wish you the best
Thanks,
of luck
man.
with this
Yeah.
project. I and you know, if you're ever in Stillwater,
Okay. Okay.
which I hope you're not,
Really?
because
Really?
I mean, if you ever find yourself in Stillwater,
Okay.
not to say I don't want you to come up, but
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
I can't see any reason why you would be up
Yeah.
there. But
Okay.
if you ever stop by,
Okay.
I'd love to show you around
All
the
right.
town, and
For
then
sure.
I'd love to if you're looking to do episode 2 with me, I'd
Oh yeah. I'm
be
hey man.
more
Like
than happy.
anytime you're in town, man, just hit me up. I'd definitely be happy to
Yeah.
schedule you in for sure. Yeah. Hopefully we can be more. I don't know what, lighthearted next time. I don't know.
We were lighthearted for most of it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I appreciate it
yeah,
though.
of
I had
course.
a lot of fun.
Of course. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Okay. That wraps up another episode of the Dozens Podcast. You can catch us on. I always keep forgetting like the platforms we're on. I know we're on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, whatever. They'll find us.
Check out the highlights on Instagram.
Oh yes,
Right.
which I also forgot I had. Okay, well that's it. Okay, bye.